datang untuk memberi dalam rangka menangani masalah terorisme. Tadi ada pembicaraan empat mata antara saya dan beliau, dan sekali lagi penekanan dalam kunjungannya adalah bagaimana kita bisa melakukan suatu kerjasama yang erat di masalah terorisme, dan juga kita membicarakan masalah ekonomi yang tentunya hari-hari ini Indonesia bergulat di dalam masalah tersebut, dan dengan bergulatnya Indonesia di masalah ekonomi ini tentunya juga membawa suatu pengaruh kepada Singapura. Dan untuk mempersingkat waktu, saya
that actually, in brief, may I invite Prime Minister of Singapore to express.
First is the terrorist threat to our countries, to the region, to Indonesia, to Singapore. And second is the grave economic challenge that we all face in trying to grow our economy at a fast rate. On terrorism, of course, Singapore had earlier on arrested some operatives from the Jemaah Islamyah. Fortunately for Singapore, we were able to detain them before they could cause any harm. Unfortunately for Indonesia, harm took place first before Indonesia could arrest the terrorists. The Bali bomb blast was something very tragic for Indonesia, but the repercussions go beyond Indonesia. The impact on tourism, for example, is very great. Right away, tourists shunned Indonesia. So Singapore, on its part, want to show support for Indonesia. So luckily, we were able to have a Singapore Airlines, which has the imagination to package holiday tours to Bali. So soon after the Bali bomb blast, SIA was able to sell, I understand, several thousand holiday package to Bali, $288 for a 2-night stay in a 5-star hotel in Bali. This is important for Bali, not just from the point of getting tourists back to Bali, but also to signal to the rest of the world that Bali, after the bomb blast, is a safe place. The bomb blasts have taken place, but Bali is not a dangerous place. It was unfortunate that there was that terrorist bomb explosion in Bali, but thereafter it is a safe place to go. So in this little gesture, we hope to show that Indonesia is a place where we can do business with. So my coming here is for that purpose, is to show support for President Megawati and for her government. We discussed quite deeply the terrorism threat to both Indonesia and to the region. It is indeed a very grave threat. For the Jemaah Islamyah, you can trace the movement back to the Darul Islam of the 1950s, and the terrorist network is rather extensive, and there are many cells. We have caught some of them in Singapore and Indonesia, but there are still many left outside. So we discussed cooperative measures in order to root out the terrorist infrastructure in this part of the world. We are aware that the Jemaah Islamyah is a Southeast Asian wing of Al-Qaeda. We also discussed cooperation on the economic side, because unless we cooperate, each one of us on our own will find it more difficult to grow rapidly. Indonesia requires a growth rate of 7% per year in order to reduce its unemployment. 3-4% is not good enough, because we must try and reduce the present high unemployment. Would we be able to see growth of 7-8% in time to come? I think it's difficult, but if we cooperate, we can at least do much better than 3 or 4%. In that light, we agreed on the Civil Service Exchange Program. This is to create a new mechanism whereby both countries would build strengths on each other's abilities. So civil servants from Indonesia will come to Singapore, and likewise our civil servants will come to Indonesia under the current mechanism, which is the DIPLU, that is the Foreign Affairs, and our MFA, our Foreign Ministry. They can meet regularly to focus on resolving bilateral issues. And in time to come, once I've strengthened the Civil Service Exchange Program, we'll be prepared to see the officials program, that is officials meeting, elevated to a ministerial meeting. But I want to do this step by step. I think get this part going first, that is the Civil Service Exchange Program going first, and we can see how we can elevate the status of the DIPLU MFA exchange of officials to discuss bilateral issues. We also discussed several bilateral issues, and our respective foreign ministries will follow up on the matters discussed. Thank you. Yeah.
Bang, diri jangan diri tegak-tegak.